From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
What do you want to ask? Who did it? I told him, you must be joking. I said, I know everybody hated Bobby Kennedy. Hated him with a fucking passion. The head of the FBI, Hoover, the vice president, the CIA, the Mafia, you name it, they hated him. His own brother, John, he went to his brother, John. There was a doctor, he had a bad back and was giving him injections. He found out that the injection had some sort of painkiller and cocaine mixed together. And he wanted to arrest the doctor. And John Kennedy told Bobby Kennedy, get the fuck out of my office. I don't care what he's putting in my back. I don't feel any pain when he does it. Mind your business. Joe Kennedy tried to stop Bobby Kennedy, but Joe Kennedy had a stroke or something because now the Mafia was growling at him. And he got sick. So he went on the back burner. There is an old Sicilian saying, you chop the head of the fish off and the fish dies. So who's the head? Bobby or John?
John.
Yeah. So that could have been. Now, there's conversations that Carlos Masala from Louisiana, Sam Trafficante from Florida, were two major guys who were pushing to kill the president. A lot of other bosses were going along with that as well. Even though they didn't want to, they had to stop what was about happening to them. The betrayal that Bobby showed.
Yes.
They couldn't control the father no more. He was sick. He was an invalid. So the decision was to stop it. But I told the FBI guys who were with me, I could tell you one thing I know for sure. Mafiosos were not sitting on that grassy knoll. That's not the way we kill. Those are guys with high-powered fucking rifles with scopes. That's your CIA guys. That's you guys who did that.
Right.
Now, we're all part of it. Hoover was the head of the FBI. He never publicly would say there's no such thing as a mafia. That's a joke. Your 10-year-old kid would say, yeah, there's a mafia. He didn't know it? Of course he knew it. So everybody concealed it. Everybody was working together in a group, whether it was the government, the mafia, Jewish organizations, every fucking thing working together. And they all had one thing in common, I remember, and I was told, was they hated Bobby Kennedy. He destroyed his own family, and he was destroyed this whole relationship that went on to make his brother the boss.
Yeah.
Ted Kennedy was just as bad. Ted Kennedy had a girlfriend who worked for him, crashed his car in a creek. He gets out. She don't get out. And he runs away. He don't swim back to try to help her. He don't do anything. He runs home to try to cover it up. From what I read, that poor girl stood 16 hours in that car with her face, because the car was upside down, on the top, sucking air.
Yeah.
Took her 16 hours to die. He could have saved her at any given fucking time. There's another piece of shit in the Kennedy family. So Bobby and him, Teddy. And there's another one who lived in Connecticut who raped the neighbor, a young girl. So there's all kinds of stories. The highlight of that family was Joe Kennedy and John Kennedy. John Kennedy gave a speech that remained with me my whole life. Don't ask what your government could do for you. Ask what you can do for your government. So he was a great president. He fucked up in Guantanamo Bay. CIA was involved. He didn't follow through. So everybody, there was all kinds of beefs with that whole relationship. But John could have made a fuck up. Anybody could fuck up. They would have never killed him for that. It was what Bobby did.
Yeah.
So I told the government, that's what I know. The government guys who were there talking to me, let me get back to that, said, stop this conversation, scrub all these notes, and we weren't here. And left.
Wow.
And I never heard about it again.
Huh.
So I must have hit a button somewhere along the line that they didn't like. That it was them that did the actual hit. Now, I watched the car with him and his wife driving.
Yeah.
I could tell you I'm a hit guy. You know that. I could tell you one thing. You get hit with a rifle in your neck or the back of your head, you're going forward 100%.
Right.
Now, he is, when you see the shot, he's going forward. Then all of a sudden it stops on a dime. It looks like the front of his head bursts open and he goes flying backwards. So it looks like whoever was in that tower threw the first shot, hit him in the neck. Wasn't enough. The guy on the grassy knoll hit him square in the forehead. He goes back. 19 different people disappear or are murdered in the investigation. Medical records disappear. The motorcade was slowed down from 20 miles an hour to 12 miles an hour. I don't know the exact number. The Mafia, I had told them, we don't have connections to do that.
Yeah.
That's you guys, no?
Yeah.
In my conversation with them. And, I mean, one guy looked at another guy, and all of a sudden the boss said, listen, this meeting's over. Let's get the fuck out of here. Scrub the notes, no nothing.
Wow. That's
so
amazing.
My opinion is it was a combination of everybody who killed him. And it was Bobby Kennedy's fault. The blood is on his hands, his brother's hands. The people who implemented it.
Yeah.
It's all over the fucking place. And I understood even the vice president hated him. Everybody gave a nod. And it was done. That's the way I got it. So that's what I know about the Kennedy hit.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That's exactly what the line of thought I had on that. And also too, Bobby had personally insulted and gone after Carlos Marcello. He shipped them out of the country and dropped
put him in a jungle.
Yeah.
and shipped him and put him in a jungle.
Yeah.
From prison, taking him out of prison, putting him on a plane, dropping him in the middle of a jungle.
Yeah.
And this guy survived it. I mean, the hatred he had for the Kennedys from that. I mean, so, everybody say, this is crazy. This is how the country worked back then. And there was different groups working together. And all you people who say this is crazy, who listen to this, look what's going on now. I don't want to get to now, but now looks like Pfizer. It looks like so many fucking people working together to do ugly, ugly shit. 10 times worse than these stories than the Mafia.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that another time.
A couple of movies that I recently watched that I'm curious as to how historically accurate you think they might be. I don't know if you saw them, but there was Martin Scorsese did, I think, The Irishman, right? And this gets into Hoffa and the unions and Jimmy Hoffa's control of the unions, and then how he had to sort of make alliances with organized crime. And then a lot of people wonder, was there Carlos Marcello and people in Louisiana involved in the disappearance of Hoffa? That's one of the theories out there. I don't know if you can comment on that, if you have any ideas on that.
Yeah, I know a lot about the hit. I know why he died. I know what family got the hit. I know what captain got the hit. He had a guy around him, and I can't think of his fucking name. He went down and did it. Now you influenced the movie in it. The movie, I don't think I think they bought a book, The Irishman, and they went by his book. They did a great job. I wasn't a fan of the movie, to be honest, even though I like some of the people who were involved making the movie, but I wasn't a fan of it. And the only reason it was done well, the only reason I'm not a fan of it is that the story's not true.
Okay.
The Irishman did not kill Jimmy Hoffa.
Okay.
Did not put a gun on his body like they showed in the movie. Who the fuck would do that? And then he says he also killed Crazy Joe Gallo. I know for a fact he did not do that. So once I'm watching a movie, I'm a movie guy. I like movies. Godfather, Goodfellas. You don't have to have 100% truth, but you have to have enough of truth that keeps me interested in. I understand it, and I understand Hollywood. If you do a great job, even if it's not 100% accurate, I love it. But when you don't get any accuracy at all, I start to not watch it. I watched the movie, and it didn't, make me look good. The Gotti one with Ton. What's the fuck is his name? Armand DeSantis.
Armand DeSantis,
A great actor, did a great job. It's pretty good. They didn't make me look good, but it was a good movie. The next Gotti movie was made by John Jr. It was a fucking nightmare. It was ridiculous. Nothing was the truth. Horribly done. John Travolta playing John Gotti was a joke. It was a sin. I'm sure John Gotti must have been doing flips in his grave if he knows what was done. I think every single, what are these people who give, they percentages of how good it is or bad it is? What are they?
Like the critics.
Eight critics. 18 of the top critics in the world gave it a 0.
A 0, yeah.
A 0. So, they should win an award because I don't think any movie ever did that. Sometimes it's like that when I bet the lottery and I don't hit out of all them numbers, I don't hit one fucking number. I should win something. Who could miss every fucking number? So anyway.
So they had to try hard to be that bad.
Yeah, you got to really try hard to be that bad. So this was, and one more thing, I was in the movie. The producers were telling me, Sammy, go to the movies and see it. I didn't want to see it. And they said, come on, it's going to ask you questions about the movie and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I went to the movie and I was watching it. There were 7 people in the movie theater. 7. I thought I was going to get whacked. I said, nobody's here. I'm going to get whacked. I know something's going to happen.
It's a setup. It's a
setup. So anyway, one aisle behind me and over to the side, to the right a little bit, there was a guy and a girl, husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend, or whatever they were. And I'm watching them halfway through the movie, and I was like sick watching this. So the girl tells the guy, my God, there's guys running around. What's their names? Who are they? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's hard to follow. It was edited really bad.
Yeah, it was terrible. I wanted to turn around and say, sweetheart, my name is Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. Why should you? But I didn't say nothing. I waited to almost the end, and I just couldn't take it no more. At the end, before the ending, I walked out. A horrible movie.
We watched that recently, the John Travolta Gotti, and I wanted to ask you about that because the first thing that stood out to me was, and you're obviously the best person to ask about this, is that John Travolta's portrayal of Gotti, I don't think he smiled once. He was always just scowling. Every scene is half the movie is just him scowling,
screaming, yelling. You see the part when they shoot the guy in the bar. He comes out of the shadows. Yeah. He didn't shoot the guy.
Yeah.
The government knows that. Every wise guy knows that. He didn't shoot the guy. It wasn't him. It was another guy who shot the guy. So, everything in the thing was fake.
Yeah.
But they were listening to the son who gave him, I don't know, a bunch of bullshit. He didn't know. He wanted to make him look like, I don't know.
Well, one thing that
Travolta should stick to, Disco Danny bullshit movies. Yeah. Not gangster movies, bro. You're not a gangster. We know what the fuck you are. Go dance in a fucking disco someplace. You know.
Well, you get the impression when you watch a lot of interviews, you watch a lot of your content, you watch a lot of documentaries and this kind of stuff. You guys are cutting up a lot of the time. You guys are having a good time. In that movie, nobody's smiling, nobody's cutting up. It's just always just this scowling, and it doesn't.
And John wasn't like that. John, listen, I had my things, my problems with him, but he wasn't like that. He was a happy-go-lucky guy, smiling, joking, teasing, whatever. That's what I'm saying. This was a total disrespect to him. That really was not him. Now, in the other movie, he looked great with Armando Santos. But this movie, completely was not him. First of all, he didn't even do the crimes. And then you're right. This was not his personality. It wasn't him. It made him look horrible.
And the guy that portrayed you, you probably don't think he portrayed you well either, right?
No, listen, I've got personal connections in Hollywood now, a lot. And I'm told, first movie, second movie, they reach the actors and actresses. Don't do a fucking, make them look horrible. They talk to the directors and everybody, make them look horrible. They wouldn't pick a good actor to play me, So, and I understand that. I'm not mad at that. I don't even care. But if you're going to do, like, if I'm working on some movies, if I do a movie that he's going to be in it, I want to pick a good actor to play John.
Yeah,
because,
absolutely. Yeah.
I want to pick Danny DeVito to play John.
Now, next.
Now, wait, did you hear what I said?
Danny DeVito? Oh, okay. So you're joking.
Yes, of course I'm joking.
Well, I thought for a second, I was like, is he being serious? What? No, he can't be. That's a joke.
That's definitely a joke. I really would pick a decent actor to play him. He deserves that. I'm not happy with him. We had our beefs, but I'm not going to, make him look like he wasn't. I wouldn't do that.
What about, something that you may have touched on, but I'm curious about another movie I recently watched was Black Mass with Johnny Depp, where he's playing Whitey Bulger. And so, during this time of the 70s, 80s, what's the relationship of Cosa Nostra to the Irish Mafia and these kinds of characters like Whitey Bulger? And what did you think of that film? Did you think it was a good portrayal?
They're from where the hell were they?
Boston, I think.
Boston. Yeah, I didn't have no connection with them. He was a fucking complete degenerate, from what I understood and heard. I did time with two guys who were in his crew. Two, the rifleman and another one, I can't think of his name. The guy actually went to Harvard University and wound up in his crew. I did time with both of them, and I understood what he was. He was a total fucking degenerate piece of shit. I'll talk about him at some other time. I'll talk about what he did. He was going out with a girl, and he was going with the girl's daughter. And then he would pass her around. She was 16, and pass him around to her friends. And then when she got a little uppity and he was afraid it was going to come out, he killed her. So that's that's what Whitey Bulger was. There's a lot more, but I don't even want to. He was a disgusting human being. I did time with Frankie Cadillac, who was the boss, and he was in jail because of him, Whitey Bulger. And I did time with him. And he was the boss for a while, and I did time with him. He's a fucking moron. The guy was a moron. I got to be honest.
Did Sicilian Mafia and Irish Mafia have a decent relationship, but something that doesn't come up very much?
We did in a couple of places. Now, over there, I don't know about their relationship in Boston. It was obviously with this jerk, it was horrible. But in New York, there was the Westies, and we had a relationship with them. And then they were eventually hooked up with the Gambino family. They were close with the Gambino family. And
that was a deal that Paul Castellano made with them, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
While Paul was they sat down, it was a famous meeting. They sat down in Tommaso's restaurant on 86th Street in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. And they came to an agreement with them, and they controlled some unions. I worked with some of the people. They had the iron workers unions, and they had a lot of things. We worked together back and forth. They had a lot of shooters. A lot of them were loose cannons, so to speak.
Yeah.
But we had relationships with the Irish on and off. So, and there was a history of them. There was, different guys got killed, different guys took over. Then finally, a guy named Bosco took over. He was Czechoslovakian, I believe. I was very, very close with him. I did a major case. We bribed the jurors and did everything, and John beat the case. And it all blew up. Everybody got pinched eventually. But no, we had a relationship with them, and I was pretty close with Bosco. Matter of fact, when he got arrested, thank you so much. When he got arrested, I was doing time, and they wanted me to testify against him because they wanted to use him. He was in. They wanted to use him against Milosevic in the World Court, and I refused to testify against him. I didn't want to make a deal with them.
Interesting.
And they held him about 5 months. Then they had to let him go, and he was out. Matter of fact, there was a writer who went and go meet him in wherever he was, Bosnia, and he did an interview with him. I got it in a magazine. The guy wrote a whole article about him and talked to him about me.
Yeah.
And he wrote the article. I got the magazine. It was in. Yeah, we had relationships with different people, different groups. We had, relationships with the Black Mafia. There was different people at different times who were close with the Mafia, some for drug reasons and some for other reasons. We had some relationships with Mexican mafias and Russian mafias. I was close with some people who were in the Russian mafia. Michael Francis was doing some stuff with guys in the Russian mafia, the oil and gas and stuff like that. He was well known for that. So we were hooked up with a lot of different mafias. We always somebody had relationships with the Jews. We always had some sort of a friendship or relationship or whatever. And, but they kind of advanced the Jews in this country.
Yeah.
And they went on and pulled away from crime. Like, they were during Lucky Luciano's days, they were really head deep. Meyer Lansky and crime.
Meyer Lansky and Lucky were really close, right?
Yeah. And they were Murder Incorporated was all Jews. The shooters were all Jews. They weren't even Italian guys, they were Jews. So after that, they more or less pulled away and did different things. But there was always friendships and relationships, and people knew somebody or something.
You had mentioned next from the time of the 1950s to the 70s, especially, that a lot of corruption, got exposed in this period on the part of the government. And what's ironic, I think, is that, when we watch movies, we watch Hollywood, we think, oh, the mafia is the bad guys. They're doing this, they're doing that. But then it turns out that the people really running the country, the shadow government, this kind of stuff, that are pushing for a global order and, what we've seen in the last few years, all the crackdowns, the lockdown, all this crazy stuff. That's the real organized crime. That's who's really, trying to bring in something, I think, that's bad news. So do you want to get into some of the present day topics?
Well, I'm going to do that when we talk about our, station, if you're going to come on with me, you and Anna. But I will say one or two things. I say this to my crew. I say this to everybody. I'm involved I didn't kill 19 people. I'm involved in 19 murders. And some people say, oh my God. Now, I look at what they're doing now. They're allowing drugs to come into this country. There's no question about it. Open borders. Right. They're just allowing it. They know it's bad. They know it's happening. There's 100,000 deaths. 100,000 deaths from.
Right.
So if you think I'm a badass, bro, I'm not a Boy Scout. Compared to them, I'm a Boy Scout. They allowed 100,000 of these lives to die. Maybe we couldn't have stopped them all, but I bet you if they would have put an effort in, we could have stopped 50, 60,000 of them to die.
Sure.
They don't give a fuck. That's an ugly mafia. Ours, I think, had a little bit of heart and soul, some rhythm, we dealt with other nationalities. We cared about certain people, certain times. Not everybody in the mafia, no. but some of us did. These people don't give a fuck about nothing. So when we talk about the news and what's going on, I would love to just uncover that, analyze it between me, you, and Anna, and talk about it.
Yeah.
And people, I don't understand how they're not waking up and doing things. I mean, I just watched a video of a woman in San Francisco on the floor, young woman, gave birth, probably drugged up. The baby came out of her, and her face, the baby's face is laying on the cement. The cement is all dirty. It looks like a shithole in this thing. And the baby's laying on the floor. What really got me is the camera backed up. There's some good guy there trying to help her. And he's got a phone. So I assume he's talking to the cops, and he's a decent guy trying to help her. The other guy's standing over her. He's got slippers on. And the camera goes up, and you look at him. He looks like a fucking, like a zombie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and this is what's walking around the streets in San Francisco. Now they want to get this. They had a shot to get rid of Newsom. Do they? They go to an election. They overwhelmingly re-elect him. What the fuck are they thinking?
Yeah,
Even
right.
if you're a Democrat, you would turn around and say, I'm a Democrat. I voted for him. But what he's done to California, fuck this guy. I'll go vote for anybody else but him.
Yeah.
And not a Democrat. I'll vote for a Republican or an independent. I don't give a shit who it is, but I'll never vote for this guy again. You're living in it. Don't you see it?
Yeah.
I don't know how they're doing this. It's beyond me. So this is when we talk on the news station. I would love to talk about things like this. And I don't want you to, I'm not going to convince you to vote Republican. I'm going to say, because there's Republicans I don't like either, a lot of them. But I want to say, when you see somebody's fucking bad, don't say, I voted for him because I'm a Democrat. No, what do you give a fuck what you are? You're a human being. You have a husband, a wife, children, and grandchildren, and whatever. Switch sides, get rid of them, and vote for somebody else. Don't vote in the same thing that's destroying your city over and over again. So I don't want to talk to Republicans or independents. I want to talk to Democrats. I know you people are Democrats. I know you're walking around with a bad label because of what they're doing, but you're not bad people. But it's up to you. If you don't vote them the fuck out, then they're there. Don't take your side. I'm a Democrat, so I'm going to vote Democrat. No. Well, if they're doing it and you see it, do it. Vote for somebody else. That's what the country's about anyway. Don't be a puppet.
Yeah. Speaking of that, do you have any thoughts on the background? Because you've done a few videos where you talked about Trump, and maybe one time there was a thought that y'all might try to shake down Trump, and he was surrounded by people, and then it turns into, something that didn't end up happening. What do you think about the whole Trump phenomenon? You have any takes on that? Is that something you want to save for later?
We could save it for later, but I will say for this: I'm not a Trump loyalist or supporter or something like that. But I will say this: if I'm going to vote for someone, I don't care if the guy is the ugliest bastard in the world and this guy looks like Brad Pitt. I'm not going to vote for your looks. Or if I like you as a person, I'm going to look at what you do. You might be the best looking guy in the world, talk real nice, but everything you do fucking turns to shit. So I'm not gonna vote for you. Simple as that. So what I'm going to say about Trump is that I'm not a Trump loyalist or supporter or nothing. He's not going to do nothing for me one way or another. But I analyze the whole presidency under him, and he made this country 10 times better. We were going in the right direction. The world had respect for us. And common sense, I'm not an extremely educated guy like you and a lot of other people out there, but I look at it now, even without a fucking Harvard degree, I look at it and I say, well, this is 50 times fucking worse than this.
Yeah.
So if I don't like Trump personally, I don't want to have a drink with him. I don't want to be with a broad, me and him in a broad having a threesome. No, I don't want that either. I don't want to be around him, okay? But the way he runs the country, I'm with him, bro. I'm on his side. I would vote for him. Now, I'm a convicted felon. I can't vote, so I might as well shut up. But if I could vote, I would vote for him. He showed me results. Maybe you don't like the way he talks. And, I always said, if Trump would have changed 2 words in his vocabulary, he might be the president of the United States. So if he's listening, I'm going to tell him those 2 words. Get rid of the word I and me. I did this. It was me. I did this. It was me. Get rid of those 2 fucking words and change them to we and us.
Yeah.
And people will love you.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Really honored. It's amazing. Probably one of the wildest, best interviews I've done. Really thankful to be here with Sammy the Bull Gravano. One thing I'm really looking forward to talking about is how they want to push this global unified digital currency, a new order, globalization. I want to talk about some of the wild events that have happened in the past few years. Why are they trying to kill off livestock? Trying to ban meat. I just did a Tucker Carlson special, and in that special, they were highlighting how they want to ban farming in various European countries. They probably want to push that here. Looking forward to talking about maybe the what was going on with the Trump indictment, whistleblowers in terms of Obama, Biden crime families, the real big crime families that are out there. Mike McCormick, stenographer, this kind of stuff. Maybe the possibility of World War III. The Fourth Industrial Revolution, Klaus Schwab, Davos, all those guys, and the future of AI. Where's all this going? I'm looking forward to getting Sammy's take on all this.
Well, I got a surprise answer for you. I know about all of that stuff. And a lot of that stuff, I'll tell you why. I'm not trying to brag. When we're gangsters, we did a lot of these things that they're doing on a very small scale.
Yeah.
We took a little bite like a bird, took a little bite of the pie and flew away. These motherfuckers want to eat the entire pie.
Yeah.
But I see what they're doing. And it's not only me, because Michael Francis became very friendly with me. I talked to him, and he feels the same way. He sees it too. He was more of a racketeer, business guy in the life, and he's got a very strong opinion. So maybe if we put on a show, maybe we'll have him on our show every once in a while. But he sees it too. There's a lot of gangsters, they see it. It's clear as a bell to them because they've done it. So I'm going to know a lot of those answers, and I have some of those questions. I have questions to you about, what would this do? Why is this? I know why it's happening. It's how it's happening, the effect of what's going to happen, and what's going to happen to the people. My daughter, my son, my grandchildren. That's a big concern to me. I'm 78.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy. I got big shoulders. I could fight back. But I look at them and I look at, some of the people around me. I got this woman around me, an Arab woman, Amina. She's got 2 beautiful kids. She's hustling to make a living, to help them to do things. And we're crushing the fucking shit out of this country. I look at her and sometimes she's talking. She's so proud. I say to myself, I don't tell her this. Those kids ain't got a shot. They ain't got a fucking shot. Not the way it's going.
Yeah.
Not because they don't have brains and looks and every talent. But what they're doing to this country, I don't know if there's going to be an opportunity. Who the fuck knows?
Right.
And I'm not just talking about her kids. I'm talking about my grandchildren and everybody else.
Yeah.
Anna's got a son, a beautiful son who's a big boy and trying to live a life, young boy. I would appreciate these countries. And this is why I want to have this show with you, with Anna, myself, and we discuss these things. And maybe we can reach some people and help them. I get so many people who are telling me, I did some stories about drugs, thanking me. I'm 3 months sober. I'm 8 months sober. I appreciate Sammy. I was on a bar listening to you. I stopped and I'm 8 months sober. I love it. So hopefully that with this news station, this Mafia news station, is that we reach people, help people, and make people understand what's going on in around us, and that they better talk up now. Otherwise, when they look at their kids 3, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, I don't know what they're going to tell them. Why didn't you talk up? Why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you try to stop it?
Yeah.
I'm a Democrat. Is that what you're going to say? And that's why I voted that way? And that's what you're going to tell your kid? I had no alternative. That's what I am.
Yeah.
I know if I wouldn't want to hear that from my mother and my father. And I know my father was a greaseball off the boat, Italian. And my mother, too. And I'll tell you one thing about greaseballs. It's a little bit of a slur word, but Italian people, we use it. They gave a fuck about their kids. You couldn't touch their kids. They were like lions, and we were like their little cubs. They couldn't talk English right. They couldn't do a lot of things right, but they worked and they slaved for you. And you come near them, they would be they're ready to rip you apart. Are we not doing that anymore? Do we not care about our kids, our grandchildren? Is it all fake when you go over, you pick the kid up and give him a kiss and hug and run away and not care? No, when you pick the kid up and you hold him and you jump him up and down and you kiss him on the cheek, put him down gently and say, you have no future because I'm not going to do anything to help you. Say that. At least have the fucking balls to say that to a fucking 3 or 5 year old who don't understand what you're talking about anyway. So you're good with that. All right, Jay, listen, if we can get together, it'd be my pleasure to get together. And you guys who are listening, this is Jay, and I'm high on him. I'm asking him publicly to be on the show, the bullpen, and partner up with us and help show the people and help the people. That I think that's him, to the core. So you guys who are listening to this and see this, send me back comments. So if they're bad comments, I'll take them out. Jay, taking them out is not a good thing. If a mafia guy tells you he's taking you out. So don't smile about that.
I'll take out the comments, okay?
Yeah, no, not the comments. So anyway, but if you like them, hopefully I can show them and we can do something together. And this will be a thing. There's twofold. One is a Mafia news station, the bullpen, and I'm very serious. I'm bent on him, and I already have a few other people. We're going to do the history of the Mafia, and you guys are going to love this more than anything. We're going to go back to the 12th century, where it started, where it began, why it happened, when it came here, where it went, and everything until current times. It's going to be long, but it's going to be something you guys, if you loved my podcast, and listen, views, I know you loved it. We had, as of today, I think 95,300,000 and something thousand views, and we have 550,000 subscribers. So I know you loved the podcast, and this is going to be even better because you're going to hear the whole history of it, how it evolved, like he's talking about the Jews and the CIA and different countries and how it really worked behind the scenes and with each other in deals and stuff, whether it was the government, the CIA, the Mafia, the Jewish Defense League, the Black Mafia, or whatever groups there are, at some time or another, we were entangled. And that's how this country became the greatest country in the world. And now we got liberal elites who want to untangle, undo everything that was great that was done and make it just, I don't know what I don't know what it'll be. But I think we'll untangle it and at least we'll tell you what it's going to be or what it looks like it's going to be. So that's about it. Jay, you want to say something? And,
No, just thanks for having me. And yeah, it's great to be here. Great conversation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
okay, great. All right, so let me end up with my little thing for my Mexican buddies. Adios, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.